Hey, it's Football again, and this is just another YouTube blog video number 2, and this video is regarding the last week's incredible news. This is a guy from the New York Times that got suggestions to try Ubuntu out. And what he did was he tried out one of the Dell pre-installed copies of Linux, and pretty much gave it saying, pretty had a question: is it ready for the average user? And based on his conclusions, he said no. He said he tried it for 30 days, and it sounds like the problem that he had was primarily Dell's fault. It really was. I'm glad that Dell's gone into the aspect to try to sell with Ubuntu Linux on it, but from other reports, it sounds like there was a lot of limitations that he ran into, and it had to do with the installation of Ubuntu that was installed. Now, the one that was installed, references, it's called the vanilla installation. And I guess someone had contacted Mark Shuttleworth to ask about that and said they were shocked that they were using that as the installation. I guess it's a stripped down version of the original 704. And if you use this installation, which is pre-installed, there's a lot of things that don't work. However, they had made available on their website an ISO of an Ubuntu installation that had also all the hardware support running and working. However, they put a disclaimer on the file itself that that this will void any warranties that you currently have with the Dell if you install it. It doesn't make any sense. If it worked that well, then why wasn't it pre-installed now? I mean, there's another thing is they only deal in limitations of 20,000 installations annually. And this kind of contradicts because they obviously were doing enough sales of it that they expanded in Europe a month prior, and it's brought up so much heated attention that we got companies like Hewlett Packard had announced that last week that they'd be starting with SUSE Enterprise pre-installed for customers and be available online to purchase. What's going on? This is the mistake that eMachines did when they pre-installed their operating system. It worked, but they didn't back up the support. And though I read articles that their support is pretty good, though the information packaged in it wasn't complete, it seems like the foot was not talking to the head. And they only did it within 6 months, which is impressionable. But I've written about this, and they're treating it like it's an experiment, a marketing experiment. But they didn't put a lot of investment in marketing on the aspect of hoping word of mouth would draw how affordable they are. They've done their own personal marketing campaigns with this little silly, employees working hard on trying to make Linux work and stuff like that. But this one technologist is, I guess he's really well respected. And so when he says something to his audience, they listen. And so when he had a bad experience and said, it's not ready, Bunch got a lot of flack for it. So, but, the fingers are pointed at the wrong direction here. It seems like, based on recommendations, that most people would have suggested to him. This wasn't planned out, but it looks like it's like their developer team wasn't talking with their marketing team and their legal team. It's like there's a gap between them three. They're still putting obviously their money on Linux or on Windows, Microsoft, and they're just making this as a niche. For instance, Hewlett Packard is saying that they're doing theirs for this new niche market. Now the thing is this is kind of weird, but Dell sells the most amount of Linux desktops now than anybody else, like 20%, versus globally it's about 13% of desktop Linux computers sold globally, pre-installed. So hopefully Dell will jump on it, because that's the thing, is things have been happening so fast. I mean, they can't just think of it as a niche market anymore. We have too many other things that have happened also last week. You've heard about Russia. Russia's entire school system is going on a new Linux platform they call Russian OS, to save on costs of operating systems and licenses, and also improve security, etc., etc. So now we have a lot of countries now: Russia, Japan, the French Parliament, Brazil, most of South America, I should say, Cuba being one of them. This is an opportunity right now that you want to be the first to jump in it. And it looks like Dell is doing good, but it looks like they got to do better. Now, Shuttlesworth has been asked about this, but he's being more diplomatic about it. He's just excited about that it was picked by the public majority. Lavano has began a place at blog.lavano.com, asking customers what operating system they wanted. Last time I checked, it was the Ubuntu was on that top of the list. If you don't think that this isn't a threat to anybody or is not a big issue, you just saw the Microsoft campaigns lately. Someone also had mentioned it, and I've noticed it myself. If you go to some of the most famous Linux news sites out there, like Linux Today, Elixir, and Slashdot. Once you get into the anything regarding the Linux categories, or it always has a Microsoft Windows ad, and it's an anti-Linux campaign, talking about, and they don't do it specifically. What they're doing is saying, this large company has used Linux on their servers and it saves them blah 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 about a year, so and so, and it's okay. I mean, competition's good. I mean, that's fine. But someone brought up a good point that marketing is hard for Linux because it's mostly word of mouth. There's the commercial standalones. Novell, though, personally, I've gone to one of the Linux Fest Ohio last year, and I know, based on what they're doing this year, their focus is on the enterprise network desktop, not the customer base.